Now, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different twists and turns, as well as many callbacks to the prequels and the originals by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about this film that a lot of people are really excited about is, of course, exactly how JJ is really going to bring us back to the other Star Wars movies in a very unique way in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. After all, JJ did in fact say that this movie is not just the end of the sequel trilogy, but it's also the end of all 9 movies together in one massive movie, such as this. So JJ put a lot of work, and he really poured his heart and soul during, of course, pre-production, principal photography, and now post-production. And a lot of work is really going into post-production as we speak. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the sequences that were shot during the later portion of 2018, this is where things begin to get very interesting. Now, specifically, it's described that Daisy Ridley shot a sequence over in Cardington during the month of October of 2018, in which she was placed on a large set that was said to emulate a desert world. It's described that a large green screen was used in the background, in which a binary sunset is planned to be keyed in during post-production. It's described that Daisy was performing some lightsaber moves with an ignited blue lightsaber in front of the Lars homestead, almost as if she was training in a similar way on Ahch-To before accidentally slicing the rock in The Last Jedi. It said that Daisy was hooked up to wire work where she was doing backflips and even running across a desert, where she was going up against a floating ball prop on wires, as if she was deflecting blasts from it. It said that it appeared to be a next-generation Marksman H training remote, creating a callback to A New Hope during Luke Skywalker's training on the Millennium Falcon in, of course, Star Wars Episode 4. So, what's really intriguing to me about all of this is that this is the planet Tatooine, and pretty much The Rise of Skywalker is bringing us back to this planet in some way, shape, or form in Episode 9. And I think that this is perfect because, in my own honest opinion, you really cannot go without Tatooine in a Star Wars trilogy. You just can't. If it's based within the Skywalker saga, you have to go back to Tatooine because it all started on Tatooine, right? If you look at The Phantom Menace, it really did all start on that planet. It really all began with Shmi Skywalker and a young Anakin and Qui-Gon and Padme traveling there, as well as Obi-Wan, and pretty much, taking Anakin with them. And then we progressed, from movie to movie. And like I say, Tatooine is a very important world in the Skywalker saga, and it seems as so that J.J. Abrams really wants to pay homage to that actual planet in this movie in order to really kind of just honor Luke Skywalker's home. The biggest question of all, though, is why is Rey here, and why is she performing lightsaber moves on the planet of Tatooine and training against what seems to be a Marksman H training remote? Now, the Marksman H training remote, in case you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, that's that little ball thing that shot little blasts on the Millennium Falcon at Luke while he had his lightsaber ignited, when Obi-Wan Kenobi was teaching him the ways of the Force and keeping the helmet on without using his vision. Very intriguing indeed, a great way to bring us a nice callback to, of course, A New Hope in the original trilogy that was started way back in 1977. Now, with that being said, alright, the reason as to why she's doing all these different moves, I think it all comes down to 2 things. Number 1, she's most likely training when she's doing the backflips and running across the desert and using those lightsaber moves and whatnot. She's either training, or this could definitely fall directly in line with what we just went over yesterday about the lightsaber duel between both Kylo Ren and Rey. Is said to have a force bond element to it, where every time that they clash their lightsabers together, they actually do, in fact, go to a different section of the galaxy in the background, giving us a view of all the different planets from all 9 Star Wars movies. And a lot of people have been talking about this, and a lot of people are very intrigued about these lightsaber duels in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker that's going to have a force bond element to it, bringing us through different planets of the Skywalker saga, such as Ahch-To, Tatooine, Naboo, you name it, the list goes on. So I think that this scenario most likely is her training. I can't see why else she would be deflecting blaster fire from a little sphere that was flying over the desert world, and that most likely is the Marksman H training remote that we saw in A New Hope. So, Tatooine, guys, like I say, it's a great thing for JJ to do because, let's face it, JJ Abrams really wants to pay great respect to George Lucas, and George Lucas was involved in this movie to a certain extent. You know, he may have not been the director or writer, but he was absolutely giving, advice to JJ, approving certain storylines in the movie and certain directions and tones and where to go in this movie. So keep that in mind. But everything else with this film, guys, it sounds like it's really adding up, especially with, all the mystery behind it. At least they have us talking, right? At least they have the fans talking and wondering, what does the rise of Skywalker mean? Who is rising? What is rising? And where's this story really going to go? Is it going to be open-ended, or is there going to be great closure where they can officially end the Skywalker saga without any possibility of continuing it? So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night